Hi guys! As you can see, I have a new camera, which I'm really excited about, and I'll tell you about that now. My boyfriend Josh, who is an airman in the US Air Force, is visiting home for a while before he goes to England for 2 years, although there probably are going to be some visits, and at some point I will be probably visiting England and possibly surrounding countries. But basically, since he was here, his birthday was on October 11th, and so we just had kind of a birthday thing for him. We weren't sure if he was going to be here for Christmas or my birthday. My birthday is December 17th, so it's pretty close to Christmas. We figured we'd kind of do all that now, and we were going to have a mini Christmas, but that kind of changed. It looked like maybe he would be able to come visit us around that time, but still, since people had presents for me, they included me too, as they were going to. And also, Josh just spoils me rotten. I pointed at him and said, "Spoiler alert! Things that I got." Well, this camera I got with some Fry's gift cards that Chris and Tom gave me. And I got 3 new pairs of pants because I only had 1 pair of pants and it's starting to get cold here. So I got these. Take a look if it changes. And then these. I also needed a new pair of shoes because the shoes that I were using had no arch support and they're really uncomfortable and they're really old, and I pretty much always wear my stuff into like holes and just damaged because I never really had a lot of money and I still don't really have any money, and I've always been kind of not having any money, so I'm used to just trying to, you know, use things as long as they're possible. Anyway, I got these shoes though, and obviously I didn't get paid to tell you about these shoes because I don't get a lot of views. Don't freak out, because the thing about people on the internet is that they use products, and I'm very sure that you do too, or you wouldn't be able to watch this. Just saying. Anyway, these shoes are called Skechers Go Walks, and they're supposed to be really good for you. They're really comfortable. They have different kinds of styles of them, so they have some that look like Toms, if you like Toms. They have really bendy soles and like kind of just like bend, because they're meant to have all these pressure points on them so that your feet will be able to move the way that they would normally, but with the support of a shoe. So, you know, it's supposed to help you walk more naturally, and it kind of, when I put them on, Josh said I stood up straighter, which is nice because I have, as you can see, I have really terrible posture. So anyway, these are awesome. I'm doing that thing where I'm having trouble looking at the viewfinder, and I need not do that. I've read all of John Green's books, except for The Fault in Our Stars, which Josh got me. I've read all of his books, including Let It Snow, but Will Grayson, I stopped in between because it was kind of triggering in the way that it seemed to be set up in a kind of bipolar way, as in with the depression and the mania, and I'm bipolar, and so it was very throwing me back and forth emotionally, and it wasn't very good. And it was just, mostly it wasn't so much the book as it was a very bad time in my life. So I don't think I'm going to read Will Grayson. However, Fault in Our Stars, I am probably going to read. I'm kind of doing the October club that Carrie, who's It's Way Past My Bedtime on YouTube, is doing, where you read 4 books in October, so basically a book a week. So I read a book called The Wave, which is by Todd Strasser, and it's basically about these kids are in school learning about World War II, and they can't understand why the Nazis did what they did and why the rest of Germany just allowed them to do it and pretended not to know about it later. And so their teacher sets up an experiment to show them what it was like, and it gets kind of out of hand, and it's actually based on something that actually happened in Palo Alto, California in, I think, 1969. The second book that I read for the October Club was Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And I actually really liked that book. It's surprising for me to read a classical and actually enjoy it, but I think that's mostly just because if I tried reading Jane Eyre when I was 15, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. It has a kind of constant flow of action and then downtime and action and downtime, so for a while you do kind of have to push through some boring parts for a little while, but at the same time, I cared so much about the characters that I was willing to keep reading, and also I actually cared about what was happening. And now that I finished it, I actually really miss it, and I'm reading Ender's Game now by Orson Scott Card, which I'm liking so far, but sometimes when I'm reading it I kind of just miss Jane Eyre, and it's not so much that I want to read it again right now, it's more like I wish that there was more, because, no spoilers, I just really love the way that it's written, in that it's, you know, in first person, but it really shows the difference from her when she's a child to when she gets older and older, to the point that the decisions that she's making, that you really get to know her, because, you know, besides just, you know, seeing several years of her life, you can see the differences, that the way that she sees things is how she, you know, says that things are, which is how it is for us. The way we see things is our reality. And as she grows and matures and has different decisions, you can kind of just see how she's thinking about things, and I thought that was really interesting, because I really got to know all the characters pretty well. And I feel like before, when I read classic literature, sometimes it was hard to identify with the characters because it seemed like a lot of telling and not as much showing. But yes, I would definitely recommend Jane Eyre. If you don't like it now, maybe try again in a few years and maybe you'll like it then. Besides that, I don't know if I ever told you about things that I like in general, but I really like journals. And I pretty much tell people if they don't know what to get me a journal. So Chris got me this journal made out of all natural stuff. Like, these are seed pods. So that's cool, and maybe I'll actually find a way to do an ASMR video with this. Besides that, Robin saw me liking this in Walmart. I have a thing where I really like kits. This is a bunch of incense, and it's got a nice box that's all, you know, nice and high quality and everything. And so it's got the cones and the sticks and all that, and a little incense burner. I really like kits. Like, even if it's something that I'm not really sure if I want, if I get a kit, I'll be like, I will be excited. Like, I think I just like things organized in little boxes, despite the fact that my life is very much, I have everything all over the floor and everything's messy. I like when things are organized, but I think my problem is that I mostly don't have a specific place for certain things, and so when they don't have like a place for everything and everything in its place, then they kind of just get everywhere. And I don't like it that way, but it always happens, and I haven't really figured out how to get myself not to do that yet. So this is basically just an update video. I hope it wasn't entirely boring. Okay, well,